Hello and welcome to this week's Water Report with me, Carel. Hello and welcome back to this week's Water Report, where we discuss anything and everything regarding Newcastle's water quality and water reticulation system. I almost wanted to say where we discuss any water reticulation issues or water quality issues of Dundee or Danhauser, because I don't know if you have any friends or family in that areas, but if you have, you've most probably heard about the ridiculous water problems they are having with water shedding, extremely low pressures, just a hell of a lot of water issues that area has been experiencing over the last few years. And the reason I'm saying this is because from the IDP that we read through, that was released by the Newcastle's local municipality, is that we are going to be sitting in that same situation very soon, and I'm meaning like tomorrow soon is possible if things do not change drastically for Newcastle and the local municipality and all the integrated departments thereof. Now, the IDP report, let me just clarify that. It's the integrated development plan that's put together by the local municipality, all the departments coming together to see the broader picture of how things are and where things need to be. I believe it's by 2030. Yeah. Now, this IDP is showing a very, very grim picture for Newcastle. To be honest, we skipped through most of it just down to the water-related and sewage-related issues, and it's not painting a very good picture. From what I see, we are not already behind. We are far behind on what needs to happen. And the municipality, it doesn't seem like they're in a big rush to get there, unfortunately. Let me say, this week we didn't have any reports on water leaks or burst pipes, nothing by the municipality, nothing by the community. If you have any issues as a community member, please remember to share it with us on our Facebook page, personal message, whatever the means of communication is which you're most comfortable with. But there's nothing, so we had the time to read through the IDP. Let's start off with some good news. It says that 96% of households in Newcastle have access to piped water in their yard, which is a very, very good number to have. But this is a problem if 96% of houses have access to piped water, but the plumbing is empty if there's no water. And that seems to be that can be the case, where the reports say that the Ntsingwayo Dam, the Chelmsford Dam, is slitting up rapidly, and this is from erosion, as I understand it, from the river depositing solids into the dam where water is supposed to be sitting at the bottom. And so that's the one problem. And the other problem is, according to the report, the sluice gates are not working exactly as they should, so we cannot reach maximum capacity of the dam when there's a lot of rain. So unfortunately, these two things together have put us in a place where the Department of Water and Sanitation says that they do not believe they'll be able to supply the water allocations that's currently on paper. So all the water that needs to go to whomever needs to get water is currently sitting, they don't have enough water. It's just a document saying that. And it sounds a bit like our government. Unfortunately, on paper things look good, but in actual fact we are falling short. To be honest with Newcastle's local municipality, unfortunately this is the average across the country, but this doesn't change the fact that they're falling on the average of around the country, and you are still the one that's going to be sitting without any potable water in your taps perhaps. And the rivers that they're also extracting water from, the Buffalo and the Ngagan River, has in the last decade regularly run dry. So this is not a very good backup to have. So it seems like the only viable option is for the Nkandu Dam, which has been, I don't know if you've chatted to the right people here and there, but there's been talks of a very big dam on the Nkandu River that needs to be set up for agricultural activity to be able to boom in this area, but also for industries to be able to have enough water in the area without affecting the population who's also needing water. And with this dam being the only viable option and things moving extremely slow in that regard, we are sitting with a grim picture. It says here, and these numbers from our documentary that we did 2 years ago are slightly different, but also we did have a disclaimer in that documentary to say that we took information from all the available reports from the Department of Water and Sanitation, the local municipality, Utukela, etc., etc. And the numbers didn't really add up. But according to the IDP, the water supply is currently sitting at roughly 60 to 65 million liters per day. So, according to what we understand, the plant could send out about 90 kiloliters a day. The 60 sounds a lot like the 60 that can be supplied after the 30% of, which is now sitting at 36% of water is actually being lost. Around about just over 60 million rand in water that is lost by the local municipality due to technical losses and non-technical losses, as I understand it. So 60 million rand in water losses makes the PRV valve that I mentioned in last week's report, the 60,000 rand on that, look like a very small amount to pay to fix a massive problem for Pioneer Park especially. This video can get very long if I get into the details, but to get to the crux of it, if there's no real intervention infrastructure-wise, piping that needs to be replaced, reservoirs to be built, everything that we accounted to on the documentary to about 5.5 billion rand, as Mr. Nseneka said, money we don't have in the municipality. If those things are not implemented very soon, we are going to be sitting with the same issue as Dundee. So looking at securing your own water is going to almost be a necessity to some extent. Recently we said water filtration is not a luxury anymore, it's a necessity, because the water is just getting worse and worse. Now, having access to water is always a necessity, and if the municipality can't provide that to you, it would be good to start looking at options. We don't do borehoules ourselves on that point, but if you send us a pin location of where you are, we can get you an estimate of how much a borehole can be for you in your area. And as soon as you have that, of course, we can test the water, we can see if it's safe for consumption, we can advise filtration and so on. So that's something to note. Also, if you need water backup systems, I know this sounds like a scare video where we're trying to just say, hey, watch out, look after yourself, but the facts are the facts. You can go and read the IDP, but for water backups you can also contact INTEGRIPURE water filtration experts right here at 38 Victoria Road, or we'll throw the number in the comments again. You can contact us for water backups, checking water quality, boreholes, etc. We can assist with the whole range of that. To also note, normally the air quality is sitting out at a PM 2.5 of about 10 with spikes up to 20, 22. Now the average for this past week has been sitting at 22. That's the spikes that we've seen in the recent weeks. So the average is sitting at 22 with spikes going up to 32 micrograms per cubic meter. Now, the scary thing is the World Health Organization requirements or suggestion, rather what they want it to be, is still sitting at 5 micrograms per cube. So we're sitting at 6 times the amount of impurities in the air on average currently in Newcastle. So that's a bit of a scare to take into account. For what INTEGRIPURE has been doing, we've been quite busy with following up and installations and site visits after our stall we had at the Newcastle Winter Festival. Thank you for your support. Thank you for Newcastle Winter Festival committee there who's given their time so unselfishly. Maybe it was about the same size as the previous years, which people feel was a bit small. But for me, the vibe was nice. The people were there that were not walking around complaining about everything like they normally do. So it was a good time for us, and yeah, we got some business there, and we're busy following that up, and yeah, we love to serve you, Newcastle. But that's all from me for this week. Enjoy the rest of the week and stay safe.